But I want you to get first perspective of what it's like in New York. Joining us live from New York is meteorologist Mike Seidel, where that winter storm warning is in effect for the first time in over 2 years. Mike, you're finally getting dumped on with some big snow in the city.
Finally. You know, we had 1 inch and 3/10 last month, and we ended that record stretch about 2 years. And we haven't had a big snowstorm here in just over 2 years. We had 7.3 in late January of 2022. Probably not getting that much, but we'll easily get 4, 5, 6 inches of snow. It's a heavy, wet snow. Here are your current temperatures. That makes a big difference. 34 in the Park, 34 at JFK, 34 at Newark, 33 at LaGuardia. Now you get out into the suburbs for the commute, and it's down to freezing at Teterboro and up in White Plains, upstate of Westchester County. So those areas, it's going to stick more. But look at this in the park. We've got runners out this morning, dog walkers, and we've got snow sticking to the roadway, even though temperatures are just above freezing. By the way, we thought it would change over right about now, but it rained for 35 minutes and it changed over to snow at 2:22 a.m. this morning. So there's the snow coming right at us, coming right up the chute, right up the coast, that low going off the Delmarva Peninsula. And as it really explodes, it's throwing the moisture back into us. And as a result, we get the heavy, wet snow. I think prime time is 7 to 11 a.m. where it could snow at least 1 inch. Not surprising if we see 2 inches an hour. So the snowfall totals here in New York City right now, we're going 5 to 8 inches. As you get farther south down the Jersey Shore, it's going to be less. Down in Philadelphia, we're thinking maybe a couple of inches. It's raining right now at both airports, Philadelphia International 36. Speaking of airports, nearly 700 flights have been canceled at the 3 New York City airports. About a third, just over a third of all departures out of LaGuardia. And the FAA momentarily will more than likely put in a ground delay program. And if it's snowing at 1 to 2 inches an hour later on this morning, wouldn't be surprised to see ground stops, which is really going to throw a monkey wrench in air travel with a ripple effect from coast to coast. So Jordan, here it comes. Finally, nothing can go wrong with this forecast, he says with confidence. So stay tuned for the big thumping of snow here in the next few hours.
Good. I know that's going to make the kids excited and any snow enthusiasts excited. Mike, we'll catch up with you in just a minute, and obviously see more of that coverage in the park.
Welcome back to Central Park in New York. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel. Look at this. It's a snow plow out in New York City. They have been used so little in the past couple of years. It's been 2 years since we've had a plowable storm. Yes, we had 1.3 inches in January from one day, and that was the first inch we'd seen in about 2 years. So they got the plows out. I think he's going to come right around the corner here. We're just off Central Park West, and this is part of the travel issue today. Snowpack and snow-covered roads, especially through the middle of the day. Then after that, things will open up here in the New York City area as the snow ends and temperatures head up to 40. So much better PM commute than AM commute. If you're flying, it's going to be a headache today. Already over 1,000 flights canceled from Boston to Philadelphia, the 3 New York City airports. FAA, no doubt, will put in some kind of ground delay program here shortly. And there may be ground stops, which will affect you across the country, more than likely, because the snowfall rates are expected to be 1 to 2 inches an hour as we go from now until about 10 to 11 o'clock hour this morning. As far as getting around in the air, it is going to be bumpy. I know flying up here yesterday through the storm, we had a lot of bumps. In fact, the flight attendants had to sit down for most of the flight as we flew through the storm from Atlanta up through the Carolinas and up the East Coast. So it will be bumpy. There will be turbulence. Now, as far as the timing, the snow is going to end here in New York City around noon, and then late afternoon, 4 or 5 around Logan Airport. So that's going to improve certainly the de-icing aspect. But we also throw in the wind. As the storm intensifies, it's going to be very windy, and that's going to impact airports where it doesn't snow much, like Philadelphia, and where it doesn't snow at all, like Reagan and Dulles and BWI. So all kinds of issues trying to fly and drive, especially the first half of the day here in New York City, Stephanie. But it's on the coast that we have other concerns, especially for the high tide later on this morning.
Yeah, Mike, when we come back to you, I want to see you to show us, make a snowball for us, show us how packable it is when we come back to you, because we got to get to these maps here and show everyone that coastal issue that you were just mentioning.
Welcome back to Central Park. Yes, the snowstorm Lorraine is underway here in the city. It started snowing right before 2:30 a.m. and we do have a heavy wet snow, and as Stephanie asked me, she wanted me to make a snowball, and it is, oh man, this has got a lot of water content. I think I can see the water squeezing out of it. Look at that. Yep. That's what happens when it snows at 34 to 36 degrees. Here comes one of the plows, the Central Park Conservancy, keeping the roads cleared. We've got runners, we've got bikers, we've got dog walkers out here this morning. And the snow is only going to get heavier in the next several hours. We're expecting snowfall rates at least an inch an hour. Maybe we get a 2-inch an hour snowfall rate. And then around 10 to 11, it just ends. It just shuts down as the storm pulls away. Later this afternoon, some sunshine as temperatures head to 40. So the commute this afternoon will be a whole lot better between some sun, temperatures near 40, treatment on the roadways. A lot of this will melt off and will be in much better shape. But there will be a refreeze tonight, so especially in the suburban areas where it gets down into the 20s. Hey, there goes a dog walker. Good morning. Good morning, sir. What's your name?
That's Gracie.
Gracie, do you like this? Does Gracie like the snow?
Gracie loves the snow.
Gracie, how long has it been? You know, it's been 2 years since we've had a snowstorm. Yeah.
He knows.
All right. Well, enjoy the snowfall. That's a good doggy. Always great to see a nice doggy in the morning. So Gracie loves the snow, and I think a lot of folks are kind of looking forward to this, Molly, because we haven't had a plowable snowfall in almost 2 years. So it's a long time coming, and the kids are learning from home, but I'm sure a few of them will head over to the park and do some sledding today. Guaranteed.
If there's one thing about Mike Seidel and the snow is that he's always going to find a dog that's having fun, always. It seems like the last couple of snowstorms, Mike, you've always found the dogs that are having a great time.
You know what? I've found dogs through all my life. I've found dogs everywhere I go. It's amazing. I just love dogs.
And they clearly love you, too. Mike, thank you so much.
Yes.
We will check back in Central Park there in just a few minutes. Did you see him with that snowball squeezing it out like it was a sponge?
Hey, joining us from New York City, meteorologist Mike Seidel. We know that winter storm warning is in effect for the first time in over 2 years. Mike, good morning. Send it over to you.
We're off and running this morning here in Central Park in New York. Snow began just before 2:30 this morning, and it's going to snow through late morning. In fact, the snowfall rates between now and 11 o'clock expected to be 1, potentially 2 inches an hour. On the radar, you see all the moisture riding up the Jersey Shore right in to the tri-state area. The storm's heading off the Delmarva Peninsula. It's going to ramp up and really intensify, and that's going to throw moisture back and wind. That's the other issue. Most of the coastal areas from Jersey to Cape Cod and the islands under coastal flood warnings. The high tide of concern is later on this morning with water running 1 to 2 feet above normally dry ground. As far as snowfall totals here, we're looking for 5 to 8 inches. And remember, last month we had our first inch of snow in almost 2 years, and this will likely be our first 4-inch snowstorm in almost 2 years also. So it's been a long time since we've really had a plowable snow here in the tri-state area. Schools are closed. It's a home learning day, and big impacts at the airports already. 1,000 flights canceled. Boston, the New York City airports, and Philadelphia included. Likely we'll have ground delay programs and potential ground stops. So check ahead if you're flying in and out of New York City through this afternoon. Later today, the snow ends here in New York around noon. Late afternoon in Boston. Tomorrow, sunny and chilly. Let's go up to Hartford, Connecticut. Reynolds Wolf in the snow. Reynolds, the snow began there overnight too, but your temperatures are just below freezing.
Absolutely, right around 31, 32 degrees.
Good Monday morning. Welcome back to Central Park. Believe it or not, we've got a real live active snowstorm underway here in New York City. First one in about 2 years. We're expecting 5 to 8 inches, and you can see it's already sticking pretty good. Temperature officially at the park at 7 a.m. Eastern was 33. It'll hover around 32 or 33, and then this will all move out later on this morning. No doubt we've got tribal impacts already. Almost 1,100 flights canceled. That's the 5 major airports, Boston, Philadelphia, and the 3 in New York City. Over 40% of outbounds departures have been canceled at LaGuardia, and the FAA will more than likely issue a ground delay program in the short term. But as far as travel goes, it's the Northeast airports, and with the snowfall rates forecast to be 1 inch, maybe as much as 2 inches between now and 11 a.m., we could actually have ground stops, and that really impacts the entire air system coast to coast with a rippling effect. So keep that in mind if you're flying in and out of the I-95 corridor, even down towards D.C. and Baltimore, because there the issue is going to be wind and not snow. As the storm cranks up off the coast, winds could gust 30 to 40 miles an hour. So all kinds of flight issues. And if you're driving the major interstates, I-80, going across Jersey into the Delaware River Water Gap area, the Poconos, the northeast extension of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and also the Jersey Turnpike as you get out of Philadelphia. Philadelphia right now raining. They will go over to snow, Jordan, maybe an inch or two of slush, but it is going to be a pack your patience, pack a lunch kind of day at the airports up here, because there's going to be delays mounting and cancellations, and that will, ripple through the day and even into tomorrow. So if you're looking at your airline tomorrow, you may see that flights are filling up or already sold out. Jordan?
Well, good point there, as we, of course, plan the rest of our week ahead and maybe even this upcoming weekend with an active pattern, Mike.
Good morning once again. Look at this in Central Park. It's been a long time, a couple of years, since we've had any kind of a snowstorm, and this one is going to dump at least 4 or 5 inches of snowfall. Look over at Sheep Meadow. The visibility is down to about a half a mile. Moderate snow now. Just a big white winter wonderland. Central Park, I don't think, looks any better than it does during a snowstorm. We've got plenty of runners out here, bikers, dog walkers. The temperature at 33, so it's right above freezing, but it's snowing hard enough. And, we don't have a very high sun angle yet. It's still mid-February. We are 2 months past the solstice. But still, with that said, we're not getting much help from the sun. Now, later this afternoon, the sun will come out, and that's going to make that PM commute much better than the morning commute. Looking up the road, they have salted and they have plowed, but it's still covering up the roadway here in Central Park. We've got right about an inch of snow, our first inch, and as we go through the next 3 to 4 hours, snowfall rates are going to average about an inch. We may even see a 2-inch snowfall rate. This is a really front-end thump. The storm is rapidly going to pull away, and by noontime or even 11 a.m. here in New York City, the snow is going to wrap up. Over 1,000 flights canceled at Philadelphia, Boston, the 3 New York City airports, and expect delays there and maybe some ground stops. Let's go up to Connecticut. Reynolds, Wolf in the snow, and Reynolds, the difference up there is your temperature is just below freezing versus here where it's just above freezing. So your water content is less, and it's adding up faster there for you.
Absolutely.
It is a stunning Monday morning here in Central Park. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel. Welcome to America's Morning Headquarters. And right here in the park, we've got a snowstorm for you, the first one in 2 years. It's a heavy wet snow. On the park bench, we're now approaching an inch and a half of snow, and it is very, very packable. So it's good for a snowball fight. Haven't been able to do that for a while. Now, last month we did have 1.3 inches, ended that long streak, but that has gone by the wayside. We're going to do the real thing today and have a plowable snowfall. The plows have been back and forth here, but with temperatures right around 32 or 33 in this snowfall rate, they're not able to keep up with it. There's the snow in the bushes, and this is just going to come down hard for the next few hours, and then after that, it's going to end. Between 10 and 11, it's just going to shut down. The winds will be increasing, especially on the coast. We do not have a lot of wind here in the park, but we could get gusts at LaGuardia, at the airports, 30, 35 miles an hour. To add insult to injury, because right now we've got those delays. We've got over 1,000 cancellations at the Northeast hubs, and that's going to be a problem. Now in Boston, the snow will end later on this afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. But here, after it ends, we'll get some afternoon sun. Temperatures up around 40, and there's the skyline. The ceiling down to about 500 to 600 feet. There's a new tower they're building here off Central Park West, and you can see it disappears into that stratus overcast up there. As the snow adds up, it's a pretty picture, and it's been a long time coming, Jordan. I mean, you got to figure 2 years without a major snowstorm. That's a long time here, Molly, in the Northeast. They averaged just under 30 inches of winter, but last year was their least snowiest, and this year they're running in the top 10 least snowiest to date with only 2.3 inches of snow at this point.
Mike, I don't know if you've seen, because I know you're talking to us here on camera, but behind you, you've got 2 more dogs.
Wait a minute. We got another dog. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, Sherry.
Sherry, I'm Mike on the Weather Channel. Good morning.
Hi.
And you've got two dogs.
Yeah.
What's their names?
Maggie and Jefferson.
Maggie?
Maggie and Jefferson.
Oh, hello, Jefferson. Oh, my gosh. I love the doggies.
Yes.
I want to tell you, I've met a lot of dogs in my lifetime. These are some good-looking doggies. Do they love the snow?
Jefferson's not. Maggie loves it.
No?
Yeah, she loves it.
And
He's
not so much, huh? You don't like the snow? Come on, buddy. Get with the season. Mwah, that's a good doggy. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a good morning. Enjoy the snowfall. She doesn't want to move.
She loves it.
Okay, there you go. Okay, Molly. As I said, man, the dogs just come out of nowhere. I love it. I have
They're coming
dogs
to
at
say
home,
hi
and I
to
really
you.
miss my dogs. Yeah, well, I miss my dogs when I'm on the road, and of course my family. But it's
all
nice
about
to
the
see some
dogs,
dogs
though.
out here, and yeah, the dogs, the runners, the bikers, and here comes the snowplows. Again, something we have not seen much of in the past 2 years because we haven't had a real good snowfall, and they're coming down through the park to clear the snow. And they've come through about every half an hour, 45 minutes, but it's snowing hard enough that it just keeps adding right back up, looking for 5 to 8 inches here in the park. Molly?
All right, Mike, thank you. You've got all the snow plows, you've got the dogs in sweaters, and I've seen a couple people behind you running in shorts this morning.
Let's end it to Mike Seidel. Mike Seidel down in Central Park. Mike, we go from Bushnell Park to Central Park. Back to you.
Yes, and we are adding up. We're about 2 inches here in Central Park, and the snow doesn't stop the dog walkers and the runners. We've got Alexandra Conway out here in the snow. And first thing I ask you, see all the runners, what about the slippage? You don't have crampons. Do you worry about that?
A little bit. It is pretty slippery out here, and I'm very klutzy, so I am likely going to fall, but I just run a lot slower.
What's the technique?
Run slow and make sure I'm picking up my feet.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And you never miss a day, almost never.
No, it would have to be probably under 0, and then maybe I'll run inside.
And tell us about your marathon numbers. Impressive.
Yeah, I'm a 2:39 marathoner.
Wow.
I was trying to qualify for the Olympic trials.
I could walk from here to Central Park West in 2:39.
Most people.
Yeah. So you never miss a day. How many miles are you going to run this morning?
Probably 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just
an hour.
An
Just
hour?
Get out for an easy run.
And compare a normal, say, 70-degree day or 50-degree day, ideal running weather time for, say, 8 miles or 5 miles to today. How much slower, how much time do you
I'll
lose?
probably run like 8-minute pace today compared to like a 7-minute pace.
So about a
mile.
minute slower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about a minute.
Well, thanks for taking time out of your
course.
day.
Thank you so
That's
much.
impressive. 2:39. Yeah. Okay, let's.
In all weather.
In all weather, that's great. Well, good luck at the next marathon.
Thank you so much.
Next
Have a
fall.
good day.
Okay, thank you, Alexandra Conway. Wow. Whoa, look at that.
There you go.
She takes a fall. What a sport. That was great. So everybody's out here. A lot of runners, a lot of dog walkers. And Jordan, just a pretty scene. We're ending up with 5 to 8 inches. Biggest snowstorm we've had in 2 years. And it all will shut down later this morning. I'd say in the 10 a.m. hour. And then the sun may come out this afternoon. But the damage is going to be done at the airports because of the delays and all the cancellations. Hundreds of cancellations at the New York City airports, Logan, and also Philadelphia. So if you're flying in and out of the Northeast, keep that in mind. Jordan?
Mike, I got to say, the dedication from these runners, I mean, it's amazing. No stopping them.
It is. I mean, that's true. 2:39, what, 26 and what is it? Half a mile, 26 and a half miles?
At
Something like that.
At 8 minutes per mile, that's impressive. That pace. It's like, dang.
26.2 miles. 26.2. I was off by 0.3 of a mile, but yeah, she's doing an 8-minute pace in this. 8-minute pace.
Unreal.
I mean, in 8 minutes. In 8 minutes,
Kudos.
I can go about 2 miles. I mean. Yeah, maybe a mile and a half or so.
I think my fastest mile ever on dry ground was when I was in middle school, and it was like just shy of 7 minutes. And I sprinted that, and I was like, you know, young. I was a young buck. Not anymore. Anyway, we don't have to talk about our best miles. Although I do got to say, Mike, you know, Molly's training for a half marathon right now, so we can talk to her about that.
You don't want to know my pace right now.
I don't need to know your pace. I just think it's cool you're doing it. All right, we'll catch up with you in a little bit, Mike.
Good morning from Central Park. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel. It is just beautiful, classic Central Park weather out here with the snowfall and the pictures and the wet snow sticking to everything you can imagine. Hey, it's our first snowstorm in almost 2 years, and it is a snow day here in New York City. We've got a mom and a daughter here, or two daughters?
Well, a daughter and
a friend?
My niece.
What's your name?
My name is Rita.
Rita and?
Rosalina.
And?
Teresa.
Okay, now you're out of school today. So are you home learning, or you're in the city schools or a charter school, private school?
We're actually from abroad. We're from Portugal, and we're here visiting for my husband's birthday.
Oh!
And we're greeted with this amazing weather.
Oh,
we're so
my
lucky. We feel
gosh.
so blessed.
Have you girls seen snow before?
Not in a long time.
Not in a long time. What do you think, huh?
It's very cool.
Very cool, yeah. It's been a long time for us here, too, in New York City. How long are you in town for?
Until Saturday.
Have you had a great time?
A great time. First few days, and now the snow.
What?
The girls are very excited to see slow-mo and go play with the slime in the afternoon. But I guess slow-mo doesn't beat the snow.
No, and what have you seen so far?
Yesterday, what did we do? We went ice skating.
Oh, at the
Bryant Park.
The Bryant Park rink.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we wanted to come here to the Central Park ring today, but I guess it's probably closed.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but check.
Yeah, maybe in the afternoon.
Well, ladies, enjoy the rest of your time in New York, and your husband, happy birthday to him.
Thank you so much.
This is a big birthday for him.
Big 47.
47 years old, and then back to Portugal, huh?
Back to Portugal, a little bit warmer weather.
Well, and hopefully you won't bake next summer.
Maybe.
Right? Okay. Thank you, Rita, and your daughter and your daughter's friend. There you go. Out-of-towners from Portugal enjoying the snowstorm here in New York City. Let's go back to New York. Let's go back to Atlanta from New York. Is it Jordan or Molly or Stephanie? It's one of those.
It's me. I'm just
Jordan.
not where I
knew
need
was
to
gonna
be,
get-
Mike. I'm walking. You gotta hold on for a second. I was not in.
Okay,
I wasn't ready to actually.
I can tap dance out here and
I know
talk
you
to more
can.
folks, talk to more dogs.
No, we're good now.
You know,
We're good now.
I
I'm
can-
more intrigued about that story
I-
about the folks from Portugal. How cool is it to visit New York and actually get snowfall?
In the past couple years, it's like winning the lottery. I mean,
That's right.
They had 1.3 last month. By the way, it was 2 years ago today, February 13th, 2022, when they had 1.6 inches, and that was their last 1 inch until last month. So they went almost 2 years. It's a record stretch. So it's nice to see a little change in the atmosphere. It's so pretty out here. And it's going to end here in a few hours and then melt. So enjoy it while you can.
Well, we do have a clipper on the horizon. Hopefully, maybe that can bring some more snow.
Good morning once again in Central Park. Can you believe it? Finally, after 2 years, we are getting a plowable snowfall. There's Sheep Meadow in its glory. Folks out there on warm days, sunning themselves, hanging out. Not today. Of course, we'll be sledding over the south end of the park and enjoying that. It's a heavy, wet snow. 33 degrees right now. Most of the airports are all 33. Oh, Newark International, by the way, as of 31 after 8:31, they're back to S+. Heavy snowfall, so it's coming down at least an inch an hour. They've got at least 3 inches. We're between 2 and 3 here in the park, and it's going to snow until through the 10 a.m. hour. After that, it's just going to shut down. There's a very sharp back edge on the west and south of the precip shield. There's the skyline. Visibility is limited. We're a quarter mile at last check at the park, and the ceiling's down to around 600 feet. But it's indefinite. It's hard to see above the stratus and all the snowfall coming down. So that's your impact here on the roadways, snowpacked, snow-covered. Once it ends, temperatures will climb back through the mid to the upper 30s, may get to 40 this afternoon with some sunshine, so the PM commute's going to be a lot better than the AM commute was and is. Much the same up in Hartford, Connecticut, where they've already had over a half a foot of snow. Reynolds Wolf, here in New York City, 3 airports so far, 810 flights have been canceled. Almost half of all departures at LaGuardia, and I'm sure it's not much better at Bradley.
No. It's going to be like more the same, Mike. I fear that we're going to have a lot of problems in the Northeast, and then we'll have the springboard effect around other parts of America, too.
Good morning from Central Park. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel. Can you believe this? It is finally snowing more than an inch. We're approaching 3 inches here in the park. We're looking for a storm total of 5 to 8. Temperatures are running right around or just above freezing. It's 30-31 in the suburbs, upstate New York, northwest Jersey, Connecticut. Here in town, it's been stuck at 33 in the park. Our visibility's been down to a quarter mile. Newark Airport's had S+, heavy snow for a couple of hours, but it hasn't stopped the locals from coming out. The dog walkers, a lot of runners out here, and something we haven't seen in a couple of years. Yes, a snowplow. Look at that. They're out here plowing the roads in Central Park. This is about every half hour they come by, and you can see what they're scraping. So it is still snowing at a pretty good clip, half an inch to an inch an hour around the area, and this is going to last until about 11 o'clock. I think by 11, most of this will end. It's going to end pretty sharply. There's a really strong gradient, tight gradient, I should say, on the back edge of the radar. Major impacts at the airports, but so far the FAA has not issued a ground delay program. We've got just over 800 cancellations between Newark, LaGuardia, and JFK, and the winds will be increasing. The only airport reporting a significant wind gust is LaGuardia now, gusting to 28 miles an hour, but they'll be picking up as that storm, now off the eastern shore of Maryland and Delaware, starts to crank up. The pressure falls and the atmosphere creates the wind. So watch those winds gusting as we go up the coast this afternoon, as much as 40 to 50 miles an hour. Likely see some power outages, Molly, with a heavy wet snow. But we've got another snowmaker on the way. Nothing like this, but you've got details on what's heading into the northeast to New England later this week.
We do. It's not going to be impressive as what you're standing in, Mike, right now, which is beautiful in Central Park. I mean, how stunning is Central Park when it's all painted in snow like that?
Let's go to Mike Seidel, who is live in New York City in Central Park. And Mike, what a winter wonderland for you out there.
Yes, and you know, it may be winter, but get this. We've got a dog right here. Come here. This dog is named Summer. Summer loves winter. What's your name?
Ellen.
Ellen, you're the owner of this beautiful dog.
I am.
And Summer can't get enough of winter, huh?
That's true. Summer loves winter. An oxymoron.
And yeah, an oxymoron. And you said that Summer was just rolling in the snow earlier.
Oh, yes. She loves to do snow angels.
Oh,
that's her
think
fave.
you can get her to do a snow angel?
Let's
Summer,
try.
can you do a snow angel? This would be a first. Summer, can you do a snow angel here on the Weather Channel? Come on over, Summer. Come on over. Okay, is she gonna roll over? Or?
I don't think so.
You're not gonna? Are you gonna roll over? Come on, roll over. Oh, I guess not. Okay, Summer, that's okay. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Goodbye, Summer. Enjoy winter. Oh, that's gonna get tired. It already has gotten tired. Anyway, look at this. The official ob in Central Park at 9 a.m. Eastern. S+, heavy snow, quarter-mile visibility. We're approaching 3 inches of snow here. We've had about 3 at Newark, 2 at LaGuardia. Airports are a mess. No ground delay program as a few minutes ago, but there are delays. They're de-icing. And the winds will be picking up this afternoon, especially at LaGuardia. It's got more of a fetch there off the water from the northeast. They've been gusting close to 30 miles an hour. Well, we've had numerous dog walkers, runners, people just out enjoying the snow. Because you got to remember, this is the first significant snowfall, first plowable snowfall in about 2 years. We had 1.3 last month, and that was the first inch of snowfall in 2 years. So it's been a snow drought here in New York City. This is all going to wind down. You'll see the back edge on the radar back in central PA. So it's all going to wind down by 11 o'clock, we think, 11-ish or so, and that'll be it. But we're looking for a storm total of 5 to 8 inches of snow, and then the winds pick up this afternoon as we get some breaks in the overcast. Temperatures probably going to get close to 40 here in the park. So all of this will slush up and melt off because they have salted the roadways and they keep plowing them. But here in the city, unlike Times Square in the city where it's, you know, a concrete jungle and there's a lot of melting, here in the park you get the full effect, Dr. Postel, of the snow and how it sticks on everything at 33 degrees. Another biker, another jogger. They're all out here enjoying something that hasn't happened very often.
It's been at least a couple of years, Mike. You're right about that, for New York to get accumulating snow, New York City in particular. So thank you very much for that reporting. And let's talk about this spring heavy snow ongoing right now across much of the Northeast, including New York. Our own Mike Seidel is in Central Park looking at the accumulation and the snow coming down. Mike, pretty hard right now.
Yes, it has lightened up a little bit. We've got a higher ceiling. It's brightened up, but we're still snowing at about a half an inch or so an hour. We've got several inches on the ground. We're looking for a storm total of 5 to 8. Now, we've already had 5+ out in the suburbs, upstate New York, White Plains North, out there where temperatures have been running at 31 to 32. Here in the park, 33. It makes a big difference because the drier the snow is, it adds up faster. There's more of a fluff factor. You got a lot of air between those snowflakes, but when it's heavy and wet, it just settles, so you just don't get the inches. But with that said, it's the first plowable snowfall here in New York City now in 2 years. Airports, we now have a ground stop at JFK until early afternoon. We'll see if they can cut that off earlier. It's JFK. No ground stops or ground delay programs at the other airports. And as far as cancellations, we've had over 800 flights canceled at the 3 New York City airports. So it's been a raucous day as far as trying to get in and out of here, plus they're de-icing. This is all going to end by noontime, and then we'll be clearing out a little bit this afternoon. It'll be breezy, but temperatures will slowly rise through the 30s. We may get to 40 here in the park. Then tonight, watch out for the refreeze, especially out in suburban areas. A lot of this slush will freeze up. But the good thing about the warm-up this afternoon and daylight is we will have melting on the streets, especially all the roads that have been plowed and salted. So by this afternoon, this will just be wet, and we'll see the asphalt once again. We'll keep you updated. It's finally happening here in New York. Dr. Postel?
Actually, Mike, we're going to take it because we want to ask you, what is that? Is it kind of like a cement snow out there? I mean, it looks kind of chunky where it's been broken up by people walking and driving.
Yeah, it's heavy and wet. I did this earlier. Let me get to see. We were squeezing water out of it earlier. Let's see if we can do it again. No, it's not as wet as it was, but you can see how the white has become more like a gray shade. It's very wet. It's heavy wet. Basically it's a weapon.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's kind of chunky. It's a chunky snow, Jen says, but it's beautiful. You know, you were out here. I remember you were out here last year, seeing if they were going to finally get it, and they didn't really. And now today we finally get what you would call a plowable snowfall after 2 years. Good to see the plows out. The sledders on the other end of the park going down the hill. Just nice to see a wintry scene here. Of course, some of the locals say, okay, it's nice. It can end now, and it can melt. And it will do that this afternoon. It will do that this afternoon.
One day. Mike, I was actually standing not too far from where you were, and I walked down the street, and there was forsythia in bloom in February, right? And so what a difference. I mean, it's warm, and maybe that plant is in bloom right now there. I'm not sure here, but it's covered in snow if it is.
Yeah, but by the way, through last night at midnight, this is the 8th warmest February on record. So it's been a pretty warm February. On Saturday, it was 60 degrees. So there were people dining al fresco on Saturday. So we're back to more seasonable weather. And for the rest of the week, it's going to be seasonable. Highs generally averaging in the low 40s or so, maybe a tad above average for a few days.
Yeah, it'll feel like winter for a little bit. Mike, thank you. We'll be checking back in on your snow. We want to take a look at some.
How about heading to NYC, where we find our very own meteorologist, Mike Seidel. And Mike, it's a type of snow we have not seen in a couple of years there.
Yes, indeed. We had that 1.3 last month, which ended that record-setting streak of an inch or less. That long, almost 2 years. And now we're getting our first, which should be at least a 4-inch snowfall here in the park, and that would also go back 2 years. Late January of 2022, we had 7.3 inches. That was the last big storm in New York City. Now, the suburbs, you know, upstate New York, that's a different story. In fact, this morning, we're getting the higher totals from Northwest Jersey, upstate New York, the Poconos of Pennsylvania. I saw one report of 11 inches, even down into the Philadelphia area, Chester, Pennsylvania, up with 4 inches. That is south of the Philadelphia airport, where it was raining at sunrise this morning. Airports so far, 1,100, almost 1,200 cancellations. Just about all of those are at the 3 New York City airports. Also, Boston, Logan, and Philadelphia International. There's still a ground stop right now at JFK. It says until 2 p.m. We'll see if it goes that long. That's a long ground stop. but the snow continues to come down. It has lightened up quite a bit here in the park, but there's still plenty of snow on the radar to come on through. So I think we'll get another 1 to 2 inches out of this, and then by lunchtime it's going to end, and then it will continue to warm up. Already, even though the temperature is still 33 with the daylight, look at this. We've got a lot of slush, and this is going to be the story the rest of the afternoon into this evening until temperatures fall back below freezing. A lot of melting going on, and that's a good thing for now. But again, the refreeze late tonight and tomorrow morning. Let's head up the coast. The other angle is on the coast. We've got numerous coastal flood warnings, advisories for wind gusts to 50+ miles an hour. And Justin Michaels is up at Scituate, right on the Atlantic. And Justin, I've been there many, many times, and it can get pretty sporty. What do you got going for us this morning? Is it rain or is it snow?
Well, Mike, we've got a bit of a mix right now.